Good evening and welcome. Tonight, armed bandits on the loose. A new attacks in the north leave 3 persons killed in Niger and 4 in Kaduna State. 3 days after the rescue of the Kankara boys, the police rescue another set of 84 boys kidnapped by bandits in Katsina State. A demand for justice by the family of 2 brothers killed by gunmen in Owerri, Imo State. And European countries suspend flights to the United Kingdom over a new strain of COVID-19 reported in the country. There's been an attack by armed bandits in Madaka village in Rafi local government area of Niger State, where at least 3 persons were killed. Those killed in the attack are the leader of the local vigilante group, Alhaji Ishaku Al-Hassan, his son Abdul Hamid, and 1 other man. Several villagers were also injured by the bandits, while the district head of the area, Alhaji Zakari Yo, who was only recently released after spending about 3 months in custody of bandits, was again kidnapped. Our correspondent, Emperor Simon, has been tracking the story and gives us an update on the situation there.
The attack in Madaka community on Sunday is one of the series of banditry attacks we have received report on in recent times in Niger State. Over the last 2 weeks, at least 15 communities have come under serious banditry attacks, with 10 persons reportedly killed. Over 30 other persons have also been reportedly abducted by the gunmen, with hundreds of locals fleeing their homes. Since the renewed banditry attacks in Niger State in January, more than 50 persons have been reportedly killed and hundreds others said to have been abducted. At least at the moment, over 5,000 of the locals are taking shelter in temporary camps provided by the state government in Rafi and Shiro local government area, where the attacks are even more severe. The authorities here are concerned, but the government says it's not resting on its oars and saying that the bandits are dislodged from their hideouts. It also promises that it will attend to the needs of the locals who are taking shelter in the IDP camps provided. And many communities have been deserted. Their farmlands are also lying fallow, with their goods wasting. The question on their minds is, how soon will this come to an end? Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
We move northwest to Kaduna State, where 4 people have been confirmed killed in another reprisal attack in Angkor local government area of the state. It's coming barely 24 hours after 7 people were murdered in what security agencies describe as reprisal killing in Kauru and Lere local government areas of the state. The Kaduna State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arwan, who confirmed the incident, says the military and police authorities informed the state government about the attack and that 4 persons were killed. He explains that 2 houses were burnt in the Ampimu attack. In the meantime, troops of the Operation Safe Haven and special forces are still carrying out operations in Kauru and Zango local government areas. Governor Nasir El-Rufai, in his condolence message, asked aggrieved individuals and groups to seek recourse to the law instead of resorting to illegal and violent methods of settling grievances. Staying with security, the Borno State Governor, Babagana Zulum, says it is necessary for the State Security Council to meet and re-strategize their approach to securing the state. The governor made the comments today in reaction to the new spate on killings and abductions of travelers along the Maiduguri-Damaturu highway. The governor expressed worry at the new trend, which, according to him, calls for urgent action.
Honestly, I heard the news and it's very disturbing. I think by tomorrow or this evening, we shall meet again with the security agencies to re-strategize our efforts to contain the situation along the Maiduguri-Damaturu road. But something is going wrong. We have to say the right thing.
3 days after the 344 abducted students of Government Science Secondary School, Ankara were rescued and reunited with their families. Another set of 84 school children abducted by bandits yesterday have been rescued by the police, this time in Mahuta village of Dandube local government area of the state. The children, who are pupils of Hizburahim Islamic School, were on their way from an event in Unguwan Al-Qasim village when they were kidnapped. The state police spokesperson who confirmed the incident explains the students were accosted by bandits who were trying to escape into the forest after kidnapping 4 persons and rustling 12 cows from Danbare village in Funtua local government area of the state. He says members of Operation Puff Adder, Sharan Daji and Vigilante Group engaged the bandits in a fierce gun battle, dislodged them and rescued all the 84 kidnapped victims and rescued all the 12 rustled cattle. According to the police spokesman, search parties are still combing the area for possible arrest of the injured bandits. Meanwhile, the presidency is insisting the military was indeed involved in the rescue of the 344 Kankara schoolboys from their abductors. And that position is contrary to the statement of the Katsina State Governor, Aminu Masari, who had said that the Mieti Ala Cattle Breeders Association played a major role in the release of the schoolboys. Mr. Shehu's position is contained in a statement released by him today, which reads in part that our security forces often do not get the accolades they deserve. Once more, the Nigerian military has delivered on the big stage. They had a plan, kept to it, and got the job done without firing a single shot. He adds that under enormous pressure from local and international sources, those charged with coordinating the boys' safe return stayed focused, and they eventually got the job done because one casualty, one dead schoolboy could have traumatized President Buhari and the parents. Staying in Katsina, some of the 344 rescued Kankara students are still recounting their experience in the hand of their abductors after they were reunited with their families. Some of them told our correspondent Idris Jibrin the process that led to their release, how they trekked for 2 days in the thick forest between Katsina and Zamfara state, and also hinted that a ransom may have been paid to secure their release.
Now back home, the Kankara schoolboys have been recounting their experience in the hands of their abductors and how they traveled on foot for 2 days. It's a journey which took them through the bushes of Katsina before they finally arrived in neighboring Zamfara state, where the negotiation for their release began.
We spent 2 days watching. We spent 4 days watching in the forest. Without resting? Yes, without resting. We say, please leave us the rest. Please leave us the rest. They say no, they are abusing us and beating us with their gun.
According to these boys, the bandits agreed to listen to police team after demanding that the military, who had surrounded the area, retreat to pave the way for their escape.
They meet them and they talk. We don't know what they are saying. Before that, someone businessman gave them 30 million. 30 million he gave them to say to pick some small ones of us to let them go.
But the bigger concern for residents is the provision of more security for schools in the area, a request pushed by the district head of catering in Kankara, Alhaji Usman Bello, to forestall a repeat of the attack.
We have local vigilante in the town. I'm sure we are going to discuss with the vigilante group to extend their patrols to those areas.
Meanwhile, celebration is still ongoing in Kankara, with residents gathering to express their happiness over the return of their children, who have since returned to their normal life. Idris Jibrin, Channels Television News.
Moving to the southeast, the families of 2 brothers killed by gunmen in Owerri, Imo State, are calling on the Inspector General of Police and the Commissioner of Police in the state and all security operatives to, as a matter of urgency, unravel the mystery behind the gruesome and unfortunate murder of their sons, Paul and Tochukwu Anyanwu, by gunmen. The brothers were shot dead on the same day and at the same spot along Owerri Sports Club, right behind the Imo State University on December 6th. Our correspondent, Tope Kuti, has the story.
It may be a joyous mood for many families ahead of the Christmas celebration. It is not the same feeling for the Anyanwu family in Umuokpara Omuko Onitsha community in Ezinite local government area of Imo State. Oh my God. The family has been thrown into mourning following the gruesome murder of two of their sons by gunmen. Paul Anyanwu, a 46-year-old architect, and Tochukwu Anyanwu, a 44-year-old estate surveyor. But who killed the Anyanwu brothers? According to reports, their lifeless bodies were found on the roadside behind Imo State University campus with gun bullets riddled all over their bodies.
Exactly this spot is where the bodies of late Paul and Tochukwu Anyanwu were recovered at about 2:30 a.m. on the 6th of December 2020. This place leads to one of the private hostels behind the Imo State University, Owerri, and it used to be a beehive of activities here when students are around. But since students are not around, it's been empty. According to reports by family members and eyewitness, a day before that day at about 9 p.m., there were gunshots around here which made people scamper for safety until the intervention of security operatives.
A member of the family who was with his late brothers earlier in the day narrates what happened.
Me and them, we had conversations and had time. Just that I was somehow weak. That was why I didn't follow them. They said they want to move out and see around. I said, okay, no problem. Let me lie down. I'm just coming from Onitsha. So, and after that, around 9, I received a call. In fact, it was my junior brother, the one killed. The number called me and I was addressing him as my brother used to address him. But it was another voice that was talking to me. He said, where am I? He addressed me by my name. He said, Engineer Chuksi, where are you? I said, I'm within Obinzere. He said I should come quick, that my brothers are shot. And in fact, they are lying dead. I should come and see them.
While dispelling rumors and insinuations that it was a court clash, a friend of the victims and their community leader described the kind of people Paul and Tochukwu were.
They are wonderful people, and that's why the public is crying, and that's why the old boys are crying. But we want to unravel what happened on that night, how these two young men were cut short, especially Paul, who is a breadwinner, making 3 children, widow, fatherless, and the woman, the wife, widow, and the aged mother, So we want to know what happened.
What are the police doing about this matter?
There are preliminary investigation indicates some areas, but which I cannot say right now until we are very, very sure. That's when I can be able to talk about it. But for now, all we can say is that we are investigating. But unfortunately, it happened. It has happened. We are saying they should. We consult with the fact that we are promising that definitely we'll arrest the people that are involved.
This incident, no doubt, is a big blow for the families of the victims. This can only be answered when security operatives conclude their investigation and perpetrators brought to justice. Iyitope Kutei, Channels Television News.
Gunmen have kidnapped a former chairman of Olamaboro local government area of Kogi State, Isaac Ekpa. Sources close to the former chairman said he was abducted on Friday around Ochadamu in Ofu local government area of the state on his way to his country home. Mr. Ekpa was said to have been making preparations for his late father's burial before the sad event took place. Authorities of the Kogi State Police Command confirmed the abduction to Channels Television, noted that a patrol team attached to the Ofu area discovered an abandoned car along the road where they found an ID card bearing the name Emmanuel Isaac Ekpa, apparently indicating he was kidnapped by gunmen. In part 2 after the break, the National Judicial Council recommends compulsory retirement of 2 judicial officers in Yobe and Osun states for alleged age falsification. Join us again. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Armed bandits on the loose. New attacks in the north leave 3 persons killed in Niger and 4 in Kaduna. 3 days after the rescue of the Kankara boys by the military, the police rescue another set of 84 boys kidnapped by bandits in Katsina state. A demand for justice by the family of 2 brothers killed by gunmen in Owerri, Imo state. And European countries suspend flights to the United Kingdom over its new strain of COVID-19 reported in the country. The proliferation of small arms and light weapons in Nigeria is a security and humanitarian issue as it exacerbates conflicts and results in high death tolls directly from their use. This has serious implications for the country's development. In this report, our correspondent Linda Kigbe examines the challenge of the proliferation of small arms and light weapons in Nigeria and looks at possible solutions.
West Africa is home to many civil wars and violent conflicts worsened by the proliferation of small arms and light weapons in the sub-region. Terrorists, kidnappers, bandits and armed robbers often rely on small arms and light weapons to unleash terror on Nigerians. Internal conflicts in the country over the years, in addition to wars in neighboring West African countries and the Libyan conflict, have caused an influx of small arms and light weapons to Nigeria.
With stability in Chad, rebellion no more, some of these arms and ammunition found themselves, or rather light arms, found themselves within the Nigerian society, particularly in the northeast, and there are insinuations that the arming of the Boko Haram terrorists stem from that. Look at what is happening in Libya, Mali, and of course Niger Republic.
According to a security expert, a large source of illicit firearms in Nigeria are from leakages from security agents.
There are some unscrupulous armorers who trade these arms for money, and also some policemen too, some unscrupulous policemen and some military men. Some, that is true, but I think now what is now is that there should be proper check for anybody to go up, anybody who signs for an arm. There should be strict accountability for those arms.
Under the Firearms Act, the police is responsible for issuing licenses for firearms. However, there is an embargo on the issuance of firearms in the country. President Buhari approved the establishment of a national center for the control of small arms and light weapons in August 2020. The center is expected to work in compliance with ECOWAS moratorium on the control of small arms and light weapons.
The need for standardized armories to be built in the minimum divisional police headquarters and the state service or every other place that you have weapons, with the right technological innovation attached to it, that once a weapon leaves the station, you can see it where it is, what is meant for, who takes it.
Create a room whereby the demand for these arms and ammunition or light arms and ammunition is not there. We have to improve in good governance. We have to encourage peaceful coexistence. We have to come out with strategies and policy frameworks that will, address this issue.
Mop up these arms from the hands of illegal individuals. The government should to equip these agencies, the immigration, the custom in particular, all those security agencies who work at the borders and seaport, on how they can use technology to detect some of these arms.
Nigeria cannot ban small arms and light weapons entirely, as security agencies rely on them to maintain law and order, and in recent times, to fight the war on terror. However, government can control the accumulation and prevent its abuse through effective regulation, targeting the control of the legal and illegal sources of proliferation of small arms and light weapons in the country. Linda Akibi, Channels Television News.
The Police Service Commission has dismissed 4 senior police officers and demoted 2 others over cases of misconduct and acts that they describe as unbecoming of public officers. The Commission said in a statement that the decision was reached on Friday at the 10th plenary meeting of the Commission, presided over by its chairman commission. The statement explains that the Chief Superintendent of Police was dismissed for conspiring with 4 others to vandalize a transformer and stealing. The 2 other officers dismissed were a Deputy Superintendent of Police said to have led a team that intercepted 3 Mercedes-Benz trucks conveying about 300,000 live cartridges believed to have been smuggled across the border from Benin Republic into Nigeria. They reportedly impounded the truck at base for 3 days but made no entries or a situation report of the arrest. Staying with the law, the National Judicial Council has recommended the compulsory retirement of 2 judicial officers, the Grand Cadi of Yobe State, Shuaibu Talba, and Justice Abdul Karim Abdul Razak of the Osun State High Court for alleged age falsification. The NJC's Director of Information, Mr. Soji Oye, says the Council's findings show that their real ages, Grand Cadi Talba, also retired in February 2020, and Justice Abdul Razak, also retired in September 2020. He explains that the Council has, in the exercise of its constitutional disciplinary powers, suspended the 2 judges from office pending the approval of the recommendation of their compulsory retirement by the respective governors. And as part of efforts to boost agriculture and reduce youth unemployment, the Bauchi State government has selected 2,000 youths to be trained in the field of farming and agro-marketing. Governor Bala Mohammed says the state is determined to drive its agricultural policy to a point where the state becomes self-sufficient in agriculture. He insists the youth who are engaged for political reasons need to be empowered with skills that will reduce their dependency on government and white-collar jobs.
Well, we have, for the first batch, we have selected about 2,000, and we are bringing them in 200s. This is the second batch out of the first 200. This is number 2, that's 400. And after the training of the first set of 2,000, we intend to give them the resources for them to go and start implementing what they have learned. And we are going to partner with the Central Bank of Nigeria, with this very institution and other financing institutions. And because we have developed our own agricultural policy and we have developed our value chain, and they have learned the skills on the basis of what we have really developed as our agricultural policy within the value chain, we think they can increase productivity by improve yield in terms of production per square meter. And of course, we are going to give them extension services with farm implements and good crops and good coaching in terms of the extension services, so that the marketing, the processing of what they are going to do, they will be part and parcel of it. We want them to be employers of labor, and they will constitute themselves, the first 2,000, as demonstration farms.
From Bauchi, we move to Kogi, where the state government is reiterating its commitment towards investing more in agriculture through the World Bank-assisted projects to generate revenue, create jobs, and make food readily available for citizens. The state deputy governor, Edward Onoja, stated this at Kuta Cluster Farm Center during an oversight function embarked upon by officials of the Kogi State Appeals Project, aimed at assessing the performance of farmers, given farm inputs and grants to enhance rice, cassava, and cashew value chains during the wet seasons.
The State Deputy Governor, Edward Onoja, led some top government functionaries and staffs of agro-processing productivity enhancement and livelihood improvement support, otherwise known as appeals, to Kuta at the Geregu Asko Camp Rice Farm Center to assess the performance of the farmers there.
Let us assess what you're doing.
The team arrives at the rice farm and are received by members of the Agricultural Development Program and the cluster chairman of Asko Camp Rice Production Farm Center, Umaru Ahmed, who conducted them round the environment. The team also visits the center where the harvested rice is processed. The deputy governor, in an interview, while commending Appeals Project for assisting Kogi State farmers with inputs, called on other state governors to take the issue of farmer security seriously.
Kogi stands very strongly in agriculture, and of course you all agree with me that Kogi also stands highest in solving insecurity problems that are a major menace to farmers across the nation. These are the things that we urge most governors to make sure their states are secured so that their farmers can go to work, bring out agricultural products, and Nigeria will not face any food shortage or food scarcity.
The team also stopped by at the Umomi Cashew cluster in Ofu local government area of the state. And the cashew farmers showed their appreciation by thanking appeals for their contribution in the lives of the farmers.
I thought that they are playing. I said, this thing cannot be happening because we never experienced such a thing. And we thank God today that this thing become a reality.
These farmers you are seeing were being mocked. Say, you are following them. This is not the usual government program. That you just waste your time and money. That they will collect money and nothing will happen. But like a miracle, it happened. And now the pressure we have now, many people want to key into it.
The State Coordinator of Appeals, Dr. Abdullahi Ozomata, stated that the program is designed to assist farmers, asking them to take advantage of the grants and inputs they receive from government.
What we have done is to empower you. This is a grant, not a loan. What it means is whatever you have gotten from this project is not for you to pay back, it's for you to improve your livelihood.
This program, according to the Kogi State government, will assist farmers to double their efforts in their food production, which should also see an improvement of their lives and families.
When the News at 10 returns, the Nasarawa State government says care for senior citizens is its priority, with the payment of gratuity to over 2,000 retirees in the state. Join us again. Welcome back, and just one more story on security. A political historian and a former member of the House of Representatives, Dr. Usman Bugaji, is advocating total overhaul of the country's security architecture in order to end the killings. He says the current government must listen more to the yearnings of the people, especially regarding critical issues such as security. Dr. Bugaji was guest on our program, Sunday Politics.
The solution is basically that those who are presently in government must listen. They must listen to citizens. They must listen to experts. There is no point in this arrogance. You claim you know everything and you are not delivering. For goodness sake, if things are worsening, you should listen. If you cannot engage and you cannot be accountable, there is no point for you to remain there. This is a democratic, dispensation. It's not a military dictatorship. It is not some kind of slave plantation where the slave master can do as he wishes. Look, we have got to, and we have got institutions of government that are supposed to check and balance the executive. They are not doing their job. They have called for resolutions. These resolutions have been ignored by the executive arm of government, and they are sitting down there doing nothing, like lame ducks. So if this system is not working, then they are basically inviting citizens to pour out on the street. Because if experts speak, civil society leaders speak, the institutions of government that are supposed to check and balance the executive arm of government speak, and the president and his team have chosen to ignore everybody and to do as they wish, then certainly what they are saying is that, well, do your worst, kind of. So they must engage. They must come out. Why did the president visit the parliament? To explain. Why should he not? It's not a constitutional matter. It's a moral obligation that he owes this country. So why should he not? If the president cannot address the parliament, then they should tell us the president cannot address the parliament. Then what is he doing there?
To retiree welfare now, the Nasarawa state government said it has paid over 2,000 retirees in the state who are being owed their gratuities. The payment followed the release of 800 million naira to the Pensions Bureau by the state government. While it is cheery news and a cheery moment for the beneficiaries, Governor Abdullahi Sule is promising to be consistent with payments of gratuities, pensions and salaries. Our correspondent Halima Gayom has a report.
They are old and retired, with most of them battling with ailments akin to people of their ages. Their situation is worsened by decades of waiting for their retirement entitlements to be paid. Several others are reported to have died in the process.
There are people
right from 1975 that have retired from service when we were in the defunct Plateau State, who have not been paid their gratuity, and they are part of beneficiaries of the program currently going on. So it is a joy to all pensioners in the South State that a change has come under the leadership of the current governor, Engineer Abdullahi Sule.
This set are among those still alive and have been selected to receive their monies. 2,100 of them have been settled after the release of 800 million naira in 2 tranches by Governor Abdullahi Sule.
Those that have health challenges, so these are the 2 group set of people that we selected and then we are paying them. Those that came first, that is those that have not been paid their gratuity for long.
Paying off backlogs of entitlements, pensions and salaries is one thing Governor Sule says he will go overboard to do.
Nobody had ever denied me my salary, and nobody ever denied me my gratuity and pension. And I have absolutely no reason to deny anybody who deserves pension. So that's why when I came, the very first month, we look at the numbers, and I said, even if I will deny some of my entitlements to make sure that we pay people their pension and full salary 100%, we must do that. And we did that.
Mr. Ghani, who retired 13 years ago, recounts his experience as he appreciates the new narrative.
He's doing very well by coming to the aid of pensioners, paying them in full, their gratuity in full, and monthly money in full. It's a very good omen to us pensioners.
This is the first time in the state that retirees from the local government and that of the state are harmonized to receive their monies without discrimination. With this disbursement, the queue of over 9,000 persons on the waiting list will gradually be attended to. Halima Gayam, Channels Television News.
The Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation says it is verifying claims by stakeholders of the 42 microfinance banks that recently lost their operating licenses in the latest efforts by the Central Bank of Nigeria to sanitize and weed technically insolvent operators in the industry. The NDIC says it will conduct the verification exercise between Monday and Thursday, December 24th, at branches of the microfinance banks and will involve a meeting with depositors, creditors and shareholders of the banks to ascertain their relationships as well as their deposits preparatory to their liquidation by the corporation. On November 12, 2020, the Central Bank of Nigeria revoked the licenses of the 42 microfinance banks, and the NDIC is expected to prepare their rites of passage to finally close the regulator's books on them. More cheery news now. Ebonyi State Government has held its yearly Thanksgiving service to appreciate God for the outgoing year 2020. The service, which held at the Ecumenical Center in Abakaliki, had in attendance the Ebonyi State Governor, David Umahi, and his wife, Rachel, alongside other members of the State Executive Council.
Ebonyi State Governor Dave Umahi, his family, and other members of the State Executive Council joining other Christian faithful in a Thanksgiving service. Thanking God for an outgoing year is one way the governor has chosen to end the year, a practice he has sustained since taking the saddle of governance in the state.
Singing praise to God, because nobody understands it, no one understands it more than I do, where God has taken us from and where God is taking us to.
The officiating minister harps on the need for service and gratitude.
We are thanking God for peace in Ebonyi State for the past 365 days. We are thanking God for good governance in spite of the challenges we all faced in 2020.
Governor Umahi highlights the challenges the state has been able to weather through the year.
The year started very, very well. And then suddenly came the COVID. And as we defeated COVID in that first phase, came the NSAS. The NSAS and COVID were things that the nation Nigeria never experienced before.
In spite of these challenges in 2020, which has just a few days to wind down, Governor Umahi says he's grateful for the year and upbeat for the new year 2021.
Keeping with the Christmas spirit, the essence and lessons of Christmas are also being re-echoed at the Enugu State Government House Christmas Carol service. Venerable Emeka Ezeji told the gathering that Christmas brings a message of hope, deliverance and victory for all, especially from the shackles of the COVID-19 pandemic. The year 2020 has been described as a tough one by many. Regardless, many still find reason to celebrate the Christmas season, one of the most sacred in Christendom. And to usher in the celebration, Christian faithful engage in various religious activities, including this carol and 9 lessons organized by the Enugu State Government to put all and sundry in the mood. Hymns, songs of worship, and choruses rend the air as they praise God in commemoration of the birth of Jesus Christ. That ushered in the first lesson taken by the state governor, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi.
God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. And God blessed them. And God said to them, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it.
Some stakeholders, including former Minister of Power, Professor Bath Naji, and the Chief Judge of the state, Ngozi Megelu, took other lessons, highlighting the reason for the season.
From the stump of Jesse, a shoot will come forth. From his roots, a branch will grow and bear fruit. The Spirit of the Lord will rest upon him, a spirit of wisdom and understanding.
Drawing his sermons from the lessons, Venerable Emeka Ezeji told the gathering that all hope is not lost, as God is working out victory for all who believe in him.
The coming of our Lord Jesus Christ is victory. The coming of our Lord Jesus Christ is love. The coming of our Lord Jesus Christ is hope.
As the event winds down with blessings for all, citizens here are hopeful that it will bring them good tidings and usher them into a 2021 to remember. And now to the arts. 60 years of practice have rolled by, and veteran artist Bruce Onogbepeya has decided to put his continuous studio practice and artistic development in an exhibition hosted by the Art 21 Gallery in Angkor Hotel and Suites, Lagos. His latest solo exhibition, titled Facade, is about telling the African story through paintings done in a new and unconventional way. And that's in our art review tonight.
The exhibits in Facade, a solo exhibition by veteran artist Bruce Onogbepeya, are a variation of paintings that explore a diverse scope of subject matters expressed in various forms, including folklores, folk tales, and myths.
Inspiration is day-to-day life. The day-to-day life, the experiences that we have, our own stories, folklore, history, telling the story in our own words.
Social unrest, violence against women are among the hot topics on the table, segmented to cover various periods of his art practice.
It's like a synecdoche, it's this exhibition, in as much as it sort of puts on the spotlight this technique, this specific technique, paintings of the artist. And you're still showing works that sort of display every aspect of art or artistic techniques that he's dabbled into in the last couple of years.
Onabraipaya is renowned worldwide for his creative ability, with the primary objective to project the African identity, and the Arts 21 Gallery are elated to be a part of this celebration, expected to run for months.
And it just so happened that we collaborated with Kenny and his team to have him here. His work is phenomenal, and it spans across maybe 60 years or plus, and we're honored to have everything that we have here, and we're looking forward to the next 3-4 months that we have it on.
Individuals, collectors and others now have the opportunity to view his solo exhibition from December the 12th through to April the 10th next year.
Some European countries have either banned or are planning to ban all forms of travel from the UK to prevent the spread of a more infectious coronavirus variant. Countries such as the Netherlands and Belgium have halted flights, as has Italy. Trains to Belgium have also been suspended. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Saturday introduced a new Tier 4 level of restrictions, scrapping a planned relaxation of rules over the Christmas period for millions of people. Here's a global update. Many passengers across Europe have been rushing to leave the UK as many countries place new restrictions on travel to and from the United Kingdom due to the concerns over a new strain of the coronavirus that is spreading rapidly there. Outgoing travellers on Sunday queued up at the Eurostar terminal in St Pancras International Station in London to catch the last trains leaving before a midnight deadline posed by Belgian Prime Minister Alexander De Croo for incoming travel from Britain. The UK government has tightened its COVID-19 restrictions for London and nearby areas and disrupted the Christmas holiday plans of millions of people. The Moderna vaccine has begun to leave warehouses for healthcare facilities across the United States. In Olive Branch, Mississippi, workers at a plant for Mackeson Corporation, one of the vaccine distributors, were loading FedEx trucks with boxes of Moderna vaccine throughout Sunday morning. The distribution of Moderna's vaccine to more than 3,700 locations in the United States will vastly widen the rollout started last week by Pfizer Incorporated and German partner BioNTech. Meanwhile, China is sending its COVID-19 vaccines to more developing and non-developed countries in the world to contribute to their global fight against the pandemic. Egypt received the first batch of Chinese anti-coronavirus vaccine on December 11th, a historic day for the country's fight against the disease. Countries such as Sudan, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, even Indonesia have either received shipments of the vaccine or awaiting them. Finally, India's COVID-19 cases has surpassed the 10 million mark and the death toll topped 145,000. As per a trend noted in the rise of COVID-19 cases, each phase of 1 million cases till 5 million was faster than the preceding one. However, this rate slowed down subsequently. Meanwhile, 5 people have been injured as a residential building in central Lisbon, Portugal, partially collapsed today following an explosion. A spokesperson for the local fire department confirmed the number, including 1 seriously injured. 50 firefighters worked to put out the blaze. At the scene, it was not immediately clear what caused the explosion, although local media said it was related to a boiler. 2 of 9 people living in the building are said to still be missing. Nigeria's Angkor Kuta has clinched the bronze medal at the 41st African Judo Senior Championships that was concluded today in Antananarivo, Madagascar. Kuta, who was Nigeria's only representative at the event, defeated B.A. Sandrine of Cape Verde in the 63-kilogram women's event. The African Seniors Championships is one of the key judo events on the International Judo Federation calendar, aimed at enabling eligible judokas to gain points, leading to qualification for the Tokyo 2021 Olympic Games. The bronze medal has now added 351 IJF world ranking points to Ekuta's points tally and further enhances her chances of securing enough points to qualify for the Tokyo 2021 Olympic Games. Portugal international and Juventus star Cristiano Ronaldo has officially received the Golden Foot Award earlier today in Monaco. On December the 1st, Cristiano was announced as the winner and was handed the prize behind closed doors today owing to COVID-19 safety protocols. The Portuguese champion also left his footprints as usual, which will be exhibited in the iconic Champions Promenade in Monte Carlo. It's a particular and special prize because by regulation, a player can only win it once in his career. The 18th Golden Foot Award was handed to Ronaldo by Louis Ducroix, son of Princess Stephanie of Monaco, who represented His Royal Highness Prince Albert II of Monaco. Tottenham Hotspur manager Jose Mourinho says a first-half penalty given by Serge Aurier ruined his side's momentum. Spurs suffered a disappointed 2-0 defeat to Leicester City 3 days after claiming the best team lost in a 2-1 stoppage time defeat at Liverpool. Having picked up only 1 point in their last 3 games, Tottenham are now 6 points behind champions and leaders Liverpool. In other Premier League games played today, Manchester United are now third in the Premier League with a frenzied 6-2 victory over Leeds after an exhilarating 90 minutes that resembled a basketball game at Old Trafford. Goals were predicted between these old rivals, and the goals duly flooded in. Scott McTominay got United started with 2 minutes, and the midfielder got his second within 3 minutes. The victory lifts Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side above fourth-placed Everton on goal difference, while Leeds remains 7 points above the relegation zone in 14th. Sheffield United were 4 minutes away from their first Premier League win of the season, but Danny Welbeck rescued a point for Brighton and a 1-1 draw in the early kickoff. And the main news again. Armed bandits today attacked a Madaka village in Rafi local government area of Niger State and killed 3 persons in the process, while 4 persons were also murdered in another reprisal attack in Angkor local government area of Kaduna State. Also today, police in Katsina State announced their rescue of 84 schoolboys kidnapped by bandits in Katsina State, and that's coming just 3 days after 344 boys from Kankara, also in Katsina State, were rescued from their abductors by the military. That is the news at 10 tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Amarachi Ubani. Good night and stay safe.